It is Friday afternoon. Oops, let's try this again. It is Luke Skywalker Friday afternoon. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This afternoon, let's play with the latest iteration of very easy meditation. We shall begin with the first of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 sets on your left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, for a total of 96. Oops, I forgot a step. Sorry about that, guys. Let's try that again. To keep track of our first phase, we can rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Wrong button. Let us demystify enlightenment. When we rely on definitions, spiritual definitions, or religious definitions, concocted by the rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, it will be quite disempowering. So what is the spiritual definition? The flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, kind definition of enlightenment. What if enlightenment was simply mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path? A very fair question would be, what do we mean by mastery? When we've mastered something, we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. No infant is born knowing how to use the toilet, brush their teeth, tie their shoes, or ride a bike, and yet by the time most children enter first grade, they are quite proficient at those things. That is due to neuroplasticity. Likewise, in the penultimate passage of the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha taught that it is possible to master his path in but 7 days. Here's the trick to doing that. When we focus primarily on the 7th fold, which is mindfulness, and the 8th fold, which is meditation, the remaining 6 folds tend to take care of themselves. With the importance of mindfulness and meditation, I think it's only fitting to view mindfulness and meditation through the lens of neuroscience. And we shall do that after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Please chant with me. The nudity of the octuple couples floating in tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to mindfulness. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. Since the Neolithic Revolution, the majority of societies have trained the majority of humans, once again, to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, and to look down their noses at the extreme minority who strive to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. It should therefore come as little surprise that when the rigid and the controlling teach people how to meditate, they emphasize focus and analysis. What they fail to understand is the only neural pathways in our brain that are capable of focus or analysis are those found within discrete regions such as the medial or dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. When we exhaust our prefrontal cortex, it triggers our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, which are pretty much the opposite of what most people want from meditation. Most people don't want anxiety, they want peace. Most people don't want aggression, they want love. But I've got some good news for you. Neither the prefrontal cortex nor the amygdala comprise the entirety of our central nervous system. Over the next two lessons, let's just jump right in. Let us explore the neuroscience of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired by evolution to access our sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which, as you can see, is the opposite of concentration. What is it we have evolved to notice? We have evolved to notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, which would include emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. And this is a whole bunch of stuff, and it can feel overwhelming, but I've got some good news for you. There is a simple path. Oopsie, wrong button. Let's try that again. Okay. When we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we gently nudge our cerebral cortex into cooperating with our sympathetic nervous system. Now let's explore a concise explanation of meditation. When we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, that which we notice during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less solid, less permanent, and less defining. And so we see, as I mentioned a few moments ago, simply by training in mindfulness and meditation, we sample the right view, we sample the right view of literal impermanence that supports release. So, right now, together as a team, let's meditate. And please remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. We come now to the second of 4 phases of mindful crease counting. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 sets counted on your left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 12 repetitions each, and that'll give you 96. To keep track of our second phase, we can rest the great knuckle of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Please chant with me. The translucence of the all-good Father and Mother depicted in paintings. I wonder if I could get it to fit, if this would be more pleasing to the eye. Over here. Yes, I think it would be. The translucence of the all-good Father and Mother depicted in paintings reminds us of meditation's experience of impermanence and non-graspability. So we'll start with it. We will touch with a spot of review. The key to noticing the antics of mind is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, during each inhalation. Now, let's go in depth. How does this meditation business work? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired by evolution to effortlessly access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of the spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to support physical relaxation as well as mental release. Mental release. So here's how that works. As we relax in harmony with our exhalation, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel quite non-graspable. It could feel figuratively, it could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question. We have to ask, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? And the answer is right outside your window. How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is most certainly non-graspable to our hand. And so, as I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, by playing with mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, we cannot help but understand the figurative emptiness that supports our mental release. And so without further ado, let's practice. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, type your question in great detail in the chat window. As Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Luke Skywalker, you've taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3¼ hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.